What is your American dream?
My American dream is that we just stop talking about walls. A society without walls. That's my American dream.
I pray for, everyone to be happy and be at peace.
People come to this country for the same reasons. They try to get away from what's going on at home, and we should embrace each other. Got two things. I hope that Spanish is prosperous for our son Dion, who's 8 years old now, and we hope that he will be taking over our company in the future.
My American dream is I have to successful my every single thing because I have a one daughter and my wife. So that's I want my good hard work and give it to them.
My American dream is one day I have my home pancake all over the place.
I'm living it. The fact that I'm able to open up my own food truck and be able to represent my culture and be able to expose it and just kind of create unity representing Ethiopians and Eritreans.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. I had to do a quick check. What, Jonathan? What?
My TV.
Your TV.
Just noticed.
Yeah, I'll fix it. One second. Yeah, it's okay.
Are you
Yeah, it's
serious?
okay. Yes, I'll do it for you, Jonathan.
Oh,
Anything.
wow.
One
Guys,
second.
Listen, my
One
boss
second.
man right now is
One
actually
second.
turning on my TV. I
There
can
you
see
go.
myself from
Is it
here.
on yet?
That is
No.
so funny. Well, welcome, everybody.
Is it on?
It is Tuesday Tea. It is on.
All
Woo!
right, there we go. There we go.
I love this.
There we go. I don't hear nothing anymore. This is do it yourself, Bradshaw Live, right?
You gotta love
You
it.
know what? You want something done, you got to do
You
it
gotta
yourself,
do it yourself
right?
if you want it done.
Welcome, everybody. Are you ready, Vanessa, to start the show now?
Brad, you're the real MVP.
Let me ask you a question. Do you need anything done for you down in Miami? I'm willing to come down. I'll take care of it, and I'll come back up. And
You all good.
you're all good over there.
The least I can do is my part.
Okay.
The least.
Everyone in the
Look at
control
the
room, you
back.
need me to do anything for you guys back there? Yeah, they seem to be okay
I
too.
was actually waiting to hear, like,
Nope, they seem to be okay also. All right. What?
Squad needs.
Oh, the squad needs stuff.
Squad needs
They
some
definitely
stuff.
do.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Tuesday, August 17th. It's tea time today. But before we get to our tea, let's say hello to Denise Johnson Green. Squad up. Joyous Walden. Question for you, Joyous Walden. What is Donald Trump saying in her or his? Joyous could be a him or her. What is the pumpkin saying in?
In the news?
No,
Or
in
where?
the little circle. You know, their little picture that goes with the.
Oh, I can't see it.
I can't see. It says something. I never
Maybe
thought
they
I would
can let us
see.
know.
I never thought I would see a picture of Donald Trump in our comment section.
Right.
Huh. Just made me go, huh?
Right.
Daniel, squad up. Jessica Leamy, squad up. Princess Tenko, squad up. Paulette, Bryce Cameron, how are you? Elizabeth Francis, Kelly Williams, Pretty Chef Ferreira. Oh, man. That's everything. Pretty and a chef.
And a chef. Ooh,
That's a lot.
that is.
That is a lot.
What's your specialty, y'all? What's your specialty?
I don't know what her
No.
specialty is, but Pretty
You're
Chef
a
Ferreira.
Pretty chef. Look.
Can cook, attractive. It's a lot going for you
A
there.
dream right there. Dream come true.
Carol Anderson, the Tiger, squad up. Deion Reed, Willie L. Williams, squad up. Jessica Leamy, how are you? Christy Consali, Terry Faith, coming in. Jilly Gould, Mavo Tom, saying good evening to everyone. Hop you all had to a successful day. I guess hope you had all a successful day. Stargirl Mika, Elizabeth Francis, God forbid we forget Stargirl.
Stargirl actually has a congratulatory message.
What?
saying, congratulations to me. I have fully paid off Spar and Bernstein for my case. Now that's something to celebrate.
Congratulations!
Yes.
Congratulations!
That is something to celebrate.
In full.
Come on.
I'm going to tell you something. You know who is even happier than Stargirl Mika? That's you got it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Uncle Brad, pretty happy too. Thank you very much, Stargirl. Elizabeth, that deserves a hi. How are you today? Right?
There you go.
Who else we got? Willie O. Williams, I said, and Rob J. Roberts with 3 peace signs. And Rosemarie Elliott, squad up as well. Cordella Douglas joining us. Maureen McFarlane. What about me, Brad? You don't let me finish, Maureen. Maureen, a little impatient today.
Listen.
I didn't finish yet, Maureen. Let's go to Elizabeth Francis on YouTube. You know, as we get more and more popular, it's going to be like a 45-minute, squad up.
Yes.
Sylvester Garland, squad up. Chetty Manduri, Jessica Leamy, double fisting. Len Roosevelt Lambert, we were waiting for your live session. Thank you very much, and thank you for waiting. Kiki, squad up. David, Ogu, Shan, Imna, saying hello. Sasha Knight, Lori Gooden, saying hello. I have a lot of cards, a very, very thick level of cards here.
Oh, wow.
Yo-Yo and Vanessa, take it away. I'm going to need to stretch for this one.
Yeah, he's going to definitely have to stretch. All right, squad, you already know what time it is. It is time to start sharing because we're going to be schmoozing with Brad, talking headlines, including more on the situation in Afghanistan.
And it's Tuesday, squad, so grab your tea and get ready because we are going to sip on some celebrity news with Brad, including Lizzo's latest message to haters after her song and video, Rumors, with Cardi B, dropped on Friday.
And of course, you can call us right now, 1-800-529-5465, anywhere in North America. If you call 1-800-529-5465, we do have open lines right now. I will be answering your legal questions in about 20 or 25 minutes from now, maybe sooner, somewhere in that range. You could also call anywhere internationally. We take calls from all over the world, whatever continent you're on. +1 212-227-8933. You're going to see the telephone number scrolling at the bottom of your screen for the entire show. That is the number to call, not only Spar and Bernstein, but it's also the number to call to get on our show right now. And after we schmooze, and after I answer your immigration questions, and after we check in with social media with your issues, problems, concerns, and questions, I will be speaking in my second part of my conversation with Feyisola Akintola, the Special Initiatives Manager for Mayor William Peduto of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and her work welcoming immigrants and refugees to the city of Pittsburgh and making sure they have a voice. She's a really, I enjoyed that interview with her. Really smart young lady. All right, let's do some schmoozing. Smart and enjoyable. I was just thinking I enjoyed talking to her.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my conversation with her. All right, so White House officials announced today after a disaster at the Kabul airport yesterday trying to evacuate Americans and others who were needed to be evacuated who helped the U.S. military, that U.S. troops have secured the Karzai International Airport in Kabul, and flights are now able to land and depart to evacuate American citizens and Afghan nationals. The U.S., after leaving Afghanistan, brought back in another 3,500 troops, and then another 4,000 in addition are on their way. Jeez. So after we evacuated and said goodbye,
coming right
24
back
hours later, hello!
This would not
ridiculous.
Be the trip that I want to take.
Hello, we're back. 7,500 troops needed to secure the Karzai airport in order for the flights to take off. Yesterday, the United States evacuated more than 700 people, including 150 American citizens. There could be anywhere from 0 to 10,000 Americans still left in Afghanistan. The Kabul airport was a scene of chaos yesterday. We saw it on our show.
So I saw.
You've seen it on a lot of
yeah,
news.
I saw the actual videos of because remember
we have it.
where the people were falling down.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Because remember yesterday.
Here it is.
Yeah, but yesterday we said we didn't see a video of them actually taking off.
We got it. We got the video of them taking off too. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that was scary.
Now, thousands of Afghans rushed onto the tarmac yesterday. Some were so desperate to escape. Yeah, there you see the person falling from the plane. Some were so desperate to escape the Taliban capture of their country, they held on to the cargo plane as it took off and then plunged to their death. U.S. officials said at least 7 people yesterday were killed in the chaos. Now, Biden spent the past several days in Delaware at Camp David. He returned to the White House only briefly to deliver an update on the situation. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki also on vacation. Why is she on vacation when they knew they were going to be withdrawing from Afghanistan? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I wonder if that was approved.
I don't know. Maybe it was approved. They didn't want to have any press conferences. Well, I'm sorry, Vanessa?
Just timely. Very timely.
Very, very suspiciously timely.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, many are comparing the withdrawal of the United States military with their departure from Saigon, Vietnam in 1975. President Biden vowed earlier in August that Americans would not see Saigon-like images of United States aircrafts evacuating amid chaos. Unfortunately, he was a little incorrect. Now, pictures and video of Taliban fighters seizing U.S. weapons and military equipment have flooded social media in the wake of the Taliban's rapid advance. A lot of the U.S. military equipment now in the hands of the Taliban. Yesterday, President Biden said the truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we anticipated. Ha! President Obvious there.
Right. Do you think there was a way to secretly move the people that they were supposed to move out before they just was like, hey, we're gonna take everybody out? You know what I mean? Because it's like, now the Taliban has taken over and they know that we've pulled out and you have so many people that we were supposed to bring back here. Shouldn't they have secretly been taking them out within the past year or so? Before they announced it, at least?
My opinion is, Biden, I think ultimately did the right thing because there was no way that the United States was ever going to, train the Afghan military to fight. Now, he had a press conference yesterday, and he basically, it was like a binary equation. You know what the word binary means? It means we only had 2 options.
Right.
Our only 2 options we had were we give a surge of troops and take back over Afghanistan, or we leave. But maybe there was a third option, like Yonathan, smart guy next to me, is saying. Was there a way? I'm sure.
I'm not a
military planner, but I would assume there was a way that you could evacuate everyone that needed to be evacuated, and then then take your equipment away,
right?
And then the troops go
exactly.
In that order,
right?
I don't understand why the troops just left and everybe it was mass chaos.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I might need to Sergeant Yo-Yo into your
Sergeant Yo-Yo. It sounds like a 30-minute comedy on NBC Thursday nights 9:30. Come join us right after. I don't know what's on TV anymore, but right after. Friends, I'm going back to the 90s. Sergeant Yo-Yo, our new comedy series on NBC.
That's a good name.
Meanwhile, so there you go. New TV pilot to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the State Department requested the Pentagon transport and temporarily house. It's like fish out of water. You should not be in the military, right? The State Department requested the Pentagon transport and temporarily house 22,000 Afghans who have special immigrant visas, their families and others who are at risk at 2 U.S. military facilities. The Pentagon previously announced that Fort Lee in Virginia would house 22,000 special immigrant visa applicants awaiting processing, and as of Sunday, nearly 2,000 had already been relocated to the Army post. Lieutenant Colonel Christian Mitchell said in a statement, Under the second request, the department will provide protection, air transportation, and processing of up to 30,000 at-risk individuals from Kabul. Now, if you have a relative in Afghanistan, because I had discussions with my attorneys today about this, and people were calling me up and they were asking, saying, "Hey, Brad, what should I do if I have a relative in Afghanistan? I need to get this relative out of Afghanistan." And I was telling people up to the last 48 hours, they got to get to a third country to apply for as a refugee to come to the United States. You can't apply as a refugee in your own country. You have to get out of your country, which is why people were in the airport just trying to get out to go anywhere, right, whether it was Turkey or other neighboring countries, and then apply as a refugee in those third countries. Mm-hmm. Now, after discussion, we put all our heads together, and I have two other options for people in Afghanistan if they have relatives and they want to be able to get their relatives out of Afghanistan. One is there is humanitarian parole. It always exists. You can make an application to the Immigration Service for a humanitarian parole, explain what the humanitarian situation is for your particular relative, which is more of an outstanding humanitarian concern than the average person in Afghanistan, because obviously the United States can't take the entire country.
Right.
And perhaps that humanitarian parole application would be approved, and when they come to the United States at the border, they then apply for asylum. That could be an option for people if they can't get out to a third country as a refugee. And also, I just learned today, which I didn't know existed, so I learn things every day as well. Mm-hmm. If you were somebody from Afghanistan and you're already in the United States, and there's lots of people in the United States from Afghanistan who are already entered the United States on special immigrant visas, like we're talking about those 30,000 people who are still waiting to come from Afghanistan on those special immigrant visas, but there are already people who came to the United States on those special immigrant visas. All of the people from Afghanistan who are already here on the special immigrant visas were mostly working with the U.S. military, mm-hmm, whether as interpreters or guides, local guides, to bring, you can't, you don't, maze of streets or whatever it may be. Many of those people who are here are already residents and U.S. citizens. They had contacts and connections at the Department of Defense. If they have kept those contacts and connections, there is something called military parole. And you can go back to the person that you know in the United States military and request them to sign off on something called military parole, where the Defense Department gets involved. I didn't even know this existed. I found out about this today, actually, so I learned things too.
Right.
Where the Defense Department gets involved and will make an application for your relative to come to the United States, to be paroled into the United States, but it's an application that the military makes to the Department of Homeland Security. That could be another option to try to get your family member out of Afghanistan. Nice. But you need that connection. But most people who got those special immigrant visas probably have those connections with the military, because they had people who brought, who they were working with at the time, and hopefully they kept in contact with them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the other option would be refugee. Get to a third country, apply as a refugee to come to the United States, or hopefully you're in that group of 30,000 people that have already been approved for a special immigrant visa, and you will get airlifted out by the U.S. military. Meanwhile, in Kabul, since the Taliban took over, women have largely been staying indoors.
Yeah.
The Taliban has repeatedly said that women's rights will be protected under their rule, but it is very clear that many Afghan women are terrified by the prospect of life under the Taliban. Now, far fewer women are venturing into the streets now compared to just a few days ago. Those who do brave the outside world tend to be dressed more conservatively. Many are educated, fearless women who spent the last decade building their careers, and they're desperately looking for a way out, worried that they may be targeted by the Taliban. One woman told CNN, "I'm thinking about my future, my daughters, what will happen to them if they kill me? 2 daughters without a mother." The woman, who is not named for security reasons, has worked for a number of international non-government organizations. She said she has spent days desperately pleading with them for help, but nobody has responded. Shopkeepers said his customers, largely men, are frightened into buying for their wives, daughters, and other women in their lives because they feel that from now on, wearing a burqa may be the only way for them to stay safe on the streets. For now, the Taliban is insisting that life should go on as normal, telling government workers to come back. Now, I read something very interesting, an article very interesting yesterday about what's going on in Afghanistan. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But Thomas Friedman wrote a very interesting article in the New York Times, and he said that basically the American mission, that's not Thomas Friedman, that's Thomas Friedman, that he's basically said that the American mission in Afghanistan started off as, you know, we got to get Osama bin Laden, and we got to rid Afghanistan of the Taliban. But it changed after the Taliban was routed, and after eventually they found Osama bin Laden. It changed. The mission changed to, "We are there to train the Afghan army to fight for its own government." And he said that was a misguided thing that the United States were doing. He wrote that the Afghans know how to fight. They've been fighting for the last 100 years. The British, the Soviets, and now the Americans. And really what this is all about, and this is not just in Afghanistan, but this is everywhere. People generally prefer their own people to be their rulers, as bad as they are,
really,
compared to having foreigners come to rule them, as well-intentioned as the foreigners are.
That to me is backwards and very brainwashed.
What do you think, Vanessa? Do you think people would prefer generally, because that's what many people believe happened in Afghanistan, that they would prefer, as bad as their rulers are, to be ruled by someone like themselves than be ruled by foreigners, no matter how well-intentioned they are?
Like, for me, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I was just going to mention how we really need to just take a look at how these Middle Eastern countries are very, very traditional countries. So yeah, for as horrible as it may be to them, there's a comfortability and like a relatability culturally that it would just be, it just makes more sense to them for it to be their own people. But then there'll be that small percentage of liberals, and it might not be enough to, you know, if there was a vote to be made, like, for it to really go more towards a liberal perspective.
For me, the only way that would actually make sense to me is like countries in Africa, like with colonialism, and it's like, oh, you know, we're afraid to have other people come into our country to rule. But like, if, like you said, they're coming with good intentions, and so many governments in you know, these other countries are so crooked, and I just don't understand how, like, they would.
I kind of agree with him in a sense that I think people see the United States and Afghanistan, we see ourselves as well-intentioned, and the people in Afghanistan see us as see the Americans as an occupying force.
Yeah.
And
it might be just on history.
Right.
Then.
Now, I don't know, ultimately, nobody knows what's going to happen in Afghanistan. Many people think it's going to go back to pre-9/11, where the Taliban rule with an iron fist. There are no rights. It is a strict Muslim country. Women have to wear burqas. They can't go to work. They can't go get educated.
Wild.
You can't send their kids to school. I don't know if that's ultimately going to happen. All right? You have to see, okay? Because nothing, you know, it's one thing to come into power in 24 hours or 48 hours, but ultimately the Taliban's got to deliver. They got to deliver jobs. They got to deliver electricity. They got to deliver food. They got to deliver security.
Yeah.
And if they don't, people are going to start becoming very unhappy with them as well, no matter how much of an iron fist that they use. It's also very interesting, something that exists now that didn't exist pre-2001. You know what that is?
The internet?
The internet. Cell phones.
I feel like they would ban it though.
Maybe, but there's always ways to go around it. And I'll tell you something else that didn't exist 20 years ago in Afghanistan that exists now. 20 years of women in the workforce.
Yeah.
20 years of women getting an education. You can't just put that back in the bottle and say, sorry. Okay? It doesn't work that way. People got used to a lifestyle. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you, it can't go. It may not be as bad as people.
It just will be ugly.
It could be ugly,
Yeah.
but it may not be as bad as people think it will be, because the Taliban, if they want to go back to pre-9/11, they're going to have problems with the people who they need to support them. I mean, another thing with Afghanistan, I read, 70% of the people living in Afghanistan are under 25 years old. A, they're young, and B, they never lived a life.
Right.
70% of...
They were only
65,
like 5.
Excuse me, Jill just changed. I read it somewhere. 65%, excuse me.
That's still a lot.
65% of the people living in Afghanistan are 25 and under.
Wow.
Okay?
They don't even
9/11
know.
was 20 years ago. Okay? So even if you say they were 5 years old, they have no recollection of what life was like pre-9/11 in Afghanistan. And now to go back to that life when they lived a different Western-styled life for 20 years, it's going to be a problem for them too. With telephones, cell phones, internet, social media, women in the workforce, girls going to school.
I don't know why. I just don't see the Taliban like compromising. It's like, hey, let's work together, and but we'll see.
I'm going to tell you another thing that Thomas Friedman wrote about that I didn't even know about. The head of, this is an interesting tidbit of facts that you don't see a lot in the news, at least. Oh, okay. Jill gave this to me.
Oh.
Not Thomas Friedman. Put a picture up of Jilly Gould, please. All right, put a picture up, and Thomas Friedman didn't give me this. Jilly Gould gave me this.
Yeah, give her credit.
Okay, so Jilly's thought, which she read somewhere and confirmed, is that the leader of the Taliban, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, he owes his freedom to the United States of America. When this pumpkin decided he was going to leave Afghanistan, he pressured Pakistan to let this leader who was arrested in Pakistan free, to go back and lead the Taliban. What secret deals did the United States make with this guy that he was released from Pakistan, allowed to go back and rule as the leader of the Taliban? We don't know what the pumpkin did. Okay, maybe Joe Biden is aware.
Right.
We don't know. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
There
Okay.
is.
Also, by the way, Afghanistan's, most, people who are around Afghanistan who can influence them, all allies of the United States, United Arab Emirates, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but there's a possibility with knowing all of this that maybe it doesn't turn out as bad as we think.
I mean, I hope that. I pray that.
I just gave you 6 reasons why it may not. But nobody knows for sure.
We don't know.
Nobody knows for sure. I'll tell you last thing. Former President George W. Bush. Oh, this is where I found it. Okay. The first American president to preside over the war in Afghanistan, the First Lady, Laura Bush, said in a statement, like our country, Afghanistan is also made up of resilient, vibrant people. Nearly 65% of the population is under 25 years old. The choices they will make for opportunity, education, and liberty will determine Afghanistan's future. There you have it. All right. Coronavirus.
Can't be a day on Bradshaw Live without.
That is correct. First of all, Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, he is fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. His office said in a statement that he is tested daily and he is tested positive today, even though he has been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Now, starting today, people ages 12 years and older in New York City are going to be required to show proof of at least a partial vaccination to participate in indoor activities, including going to a gym, including going into a restaurant. Like, I know yesterday when I went to my gym, I had to show them my COVID card.
Really?
Yeah, they asked for it. They said I'm not going to be allowed in today if I didn't show it. I said, well, today's my off day, but I'll show it anyway because I want to come tomorrow. Now, Mayor de Blasio said, if we're going to stop the Delta variant, the time is now. In New Orleans, a vaccination requirement for all indoor venues and outdoor gatherings of more than 500 people went into effect. In San Francisco, a requirement for indoor activities goes into effect Friday. These are requirements. You can't show a negative COVID test. You have to show a vaccination. Biden administration health officials are expected to recommend booster shots. Did you hear that, Yo-Yo? I know you didn't want to do the booster shot.
Yeah.
But they are recommending booster shots for anyone who took the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, and regardless of age. And the booster shot you're supposed to take is 8 months after you got your second dose. People like me who got the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, so what do you have to do?
I have Johnson. So far, nothing. They have not done enough testing on the Johnson & Johnson to recommend whether to have a second. I don't know what I should be doing. They haven't come out with it yet. Alabama's ICU is at near capacity. The head of the Alabama Hospital Association, Dr. Don Williamson, told the AP that the situation, the greatest demand on the ICU system we have ever seen. 1 in 5, I just saw this statistic come across my phone about an hour ago from the New York Times. 1 in 5 ICU units in the United States of America, 20% is at 95% capacity or greater. That means 1 or 2 beds left. Man, I need some tea.
Yes, Tuesday tea, please.
Please, just some tea. There's a lot of...
Golly.
It's just too much, man.
Oh!
What is this? What is this he has? A side. He has a side. Jessica Levy Joel beat me in squad versus crew. Did you have to? Did you lose that? Was that a bet you made with her?
It was a miserable loss.
It was a miserable loss. So now he has to wear the sign of shame.
I actually love the bow tie, though.
He has a bow tie and the sign of shame.
They're real fancy.
Very fancy.
Jessica Levy, where are you in the comments?
The butler is wearing an I lost to Jessica Levy sign.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'll get you next time.
She'll get you next time. What kind of tea did you give us today, by the way?
Oh man.
I think it's the same raspberry.
Thank you.
Yeah, this it's still raspberry apparently. The butler, but just because we said we like raspberry last time doesn't mean we want it every time, Butler.
I'm running on right here.
All right.
It's yummy though.
Lizzo. She addressed a wave of hate comments directed at her over the weekend. So you know what I find sometimes when you address hate comments, doesn't it cause more hate comments or no?
So keep reading because I have something about it because Lizzo actually doesn't usually address this. She's so unproblematic.
Yeah.
She just lets it.
Don't you just cause more drama in a way that now we're talking about it in tea? I'm just
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, she tearfully calling some of the criticism out for being fat-phobic and racist. Lizzo released the song Rumors with Cardi B on Friday, and a video, more than 13 million views. The song lyrics themselves address haters, with Lizzo singing in one verse, "Why are you spending all your time trying to break a woman down?" The 3-time Grammy winner told fans Sunday that while normally hateful comments don't bother her, her tolerance for them was low. She said, "It's fat-phobic, it's racist, and it's hurtful. What I won't accept is y'all doing this to black women over and over and over again, especially us big black girls. When we don't fit into the box that you want to put us in, you just unleash hatred on us." Lizzo added that while she focuses on providing positivity through her platforms, she sometimes feels like the world doesn't love me back. Cardi B came to the singer's defense on Twitter Sunday, calling haters nerds who are looking onto the popular table. In one tweet, she said that body shaming and calling her mammy is mean and racist as F. She wrote, "When you stand up for yourself, they claim you're problematic and sensitive." That's what I said. I didn't say,
Right.
I wasn't saying problematic and sensitive. I was just saying, I just think it causes more problems. You know, just ignore it more than anything. But when you don't, they tear you apart until you cry like this. Whether you're skinny, big, plastic, they're going to always try to put their insecurities on you. All right, thoughts. I gave you my thought.
I mean, like I said, Lizzo is the most unproblematic person. She has no time for anybody's drama. She is just a happy person, and she's comfortable in the skin that she's in, and that apparently makes other people uncomfortable. So the fact that she, spoke about it this time, it literally was because she broke down. Imagine you put out a video and in days that got 13 million views. Do you understand how many hateful comments you get just daily from the entire world just because you're happy with yourself? Like, it will break you down. We get like 2 comments. If we get one negative comment on YouTube or Facebook, we're like, oh, what the heck? Delete them. We got, you know what I mean? But like, imagine millions and millions and millions of people literally just body shaming you because you're happy. I pray for her sanity. That's hard. And she just became famous, like out of nowhere, so she's not used to the fame. She's not used to all this.
But I think there's trolls everywhere. I mean, there's trolls everywhere. There's just negative people no matter what. Whether she was tall, there's negative people against you. Whether you're short, you're big. I just think there's negativity everywhere on social media. It doesn't matter what you are and who you are. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that still doesn't justify.
No, I'm not saying it justifies it. I'm just saying, I'm not saying she can't be, sensitive to it. And obviously, but I just think it's just part of, at this, you just got to believe it at this stage in social media. It's part of the game, in a way.
Yeah, but these are actual like jabs that are super, super hurtful. Like calling a black woman a mammy, like just because they're saying she's being subservient to the white man when all she's doing is literally being herself. Like, these are jabs that, they're a little deep.
But it's so absurd that, like, in other words, like if somebody calls you something that is just so absurd, that it's just so absolutely positively not true. Sometimes I just like, I'm like, where are they even coming up with this? It's just so ridiculous. You just laugh.
Were you not bullied as a child?
Maybe not.
I was bullied as a child, and it hurts. It hurts. Words sting harder than being beat up physically.
Okay, I'm not going to argue.
Yeah. So I understand.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just telling you, sometimes, I'm just
but
like,
but you could tell you weren't bullied.
When people call me names, or like, just say something so absurd, I'm like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thicker skinned. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
We wish that for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually wish I had that, because I didn't have that thick skin. I was a skinny bucktooth nerd from, with a family from Africa, and literally it was made fun of. You are
not a skinny bucktooth nerd.
If you had seen my pictures.
How dare anybody call Yo-Yo a skinny bucktooth nerd?
Listen, I was bullied literally my entire upbringing.
I don't believe that.
We'll bring out the pictures.
I don't believe that, because you're like the coolest guy I know. So
now.
Right? Are you still sensitive now?
Yeah, to the point where I had to take anger management, and
really?
I grew, like, when I got older, I found myself fighting a lot, and I found out it was because I was bullied so much as a kid when I couldn't defend myself. And now, like you say, I'm older and I'm big. Like, if somebody says one thing, I used to just blow up.
Right.
So I get where you coming from, baby. Lizzo, you know, we love you. We love full figure women. We love black women that are doing their thing. You know, we just got to give them love.
Well, Lizzo, she turned it around.
She did.
She did turn it around on Sunday afternoon. She tweeted, "If you managed to love yourself today, I'm proud of you. If you haven't, I'm still proud of you. This shit's hard." She then shared a short video of herself laughing and revealing her stash of Grammys and other awards, writing, "Sometimes I get sad, and then I look at what I did.
See?
Look at what you did."
Yep.
And then you say, "What did they do?"
That part.
What'd they do?
Because usually those are the people that are hating, the ones that are mad at their own life.
This, by the way, did you...
Miserable, yes,
Yeah.
Nesquik.
You have any thoughts on this, Nesquik?
What? I have so many thoughts.
Right.
You just don't know how to put it. But like honestly and truly, I agree with Yo-Yo. And then there's also something in the comments from Anna. She's just repeating a quote that Lizzo said, and it was like, you know, whether you're thick, skinny, plastic people, here it goes. As Lizzo says, whether you're skinny, big, or plastic, you're gonna have haters. Love, love, love Lizzo. And then
That's true. You're always gonna have haters. Exactly.
You know, the way that you're looking at life now, Brad, like I see life very much that way too, but every now and again, you know, you go back to like it may take people longer to build that thick skin. And then when you get it in an overwhelm, right? If you get 13 million views in something, just 2 million of them being negative, like you can spend an entire
That's a lot.
reading negative messages, but you know, it's just it's an overwhelm. So it's not to say that she's sensitive, it's like there's 3 million comments.
You ever see those? You ever see those? I forgot which late night comedian does it. The where they read the mean tweets. They have.
Oh,
they have the
I love that. I love Jimmy Kimmel.
Does it.
I love
where
that.
They have the celebrities. I mean, like, you know, that's them just laughing it off. Like, you know, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually love it, but that's not for everybody. Like for someone who's I was on mainstream TV. I've had viral videos on YouTube. All my comments are not nice comments, even me today. So just those little bit of a comment, like some of those comments, I'm like, dang, it kind of hurt my feelings. Imagine millions of them. I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't.
This is what I can't imagine. I got to move on, but this is what I can't imagine. Okay, Jennifer Aniston claims when she's stressed out.
Oh gosh.
When she's stressed out, she goes and wants to eat. But she doesn't eat like a normal stressed out person like Uncle Brad, who would eat an entire pizza or an entire quart of ice cream, okay? Or go to Dunkin' Donuts and get like, you know, 24 munchkins and like devour them, 6 in your mouth. Oh yeah, I'm so angry, I'm gonna eat all these munchkins.
I'm gonna show this box something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Uncle Brad does. Nope, Jennifer Aniston could go to the M&M bag, eat one M&M and say, okay, I feel better. What the heck? Is that even human?
Wow.
Is that even human?
I had 3 Oreos before the show.
I had Taco Bell before this, right after the gym, and I'm like over here, just I'm just dying in my mind. I'm like, oh, why'd I do that? This right here, if I can take a positive from this, it kind of teaches us it's all in your mind. Just, you know, I mean, pretend you ate like a bunch, but just take one and then you're good.
I'll tell you what she said in a recent InStyle magazine, because this is the quote. A chip, crunch, crunch. Just one chip. Usually I'm good at that. I can have one M&M or one chip. I know that's so annoying. Yeah, it is really annoying.
Very annoying.
It is so annoying. It's annoying just to read it. It's annoying.
It is. Because there's nobody else in the world that can do this.
Another positive is just the willpower there. Can you just give a round?
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna take the positive out of it, but it still irks me. Like, cause I could never do this.
Yeah, well, you know what it is that she, you know, I think it's psychological in the sense that you say to yourself, I would be more stressed out putting the weight on than eating. It's not the, I mean, when people say it's willpower, I look at it like this. What stresses the person out more? Is it what's going on at this moment, or the stress knowing that I'm going to put weight on, or I'm not going to feel good in my body? And me, I could care less how I feel in my body. I'm eating all the munchkins right now. I'm eating all the ice cream. I could care less that I could care less what my body looks like. But other people, like Jennifer Aniston, she's like,
I literally just like a vision. It just came up in my mind just from you saying that. Is like I see you with a box of donuts and then like a big old bag of chips, and you just talking to yourself like, okay, I'm stressed, but I feel like me gaining this weight is gonna make me even more stressed. So all I see is you just inhaling, just like, okay, let me just smell it at least.
It's true. No, but I would eat it anyway.
You would still eat it?
Everybody has their, I guess their thing. Some people are addicted to drugs or alcohol. When they're stressed out, or smoke a cigarette. Some people like to go running. I was
about to say, you should try and go running.
I like to go find the fattest food I can find. I feel better for the moment.
Oh, man.
What do you do to relieve stress?
I was about to ask, how do you relieve?
She's not. Vanessa's not eating. She's skinny.
I don't know.
I have a sweet tooth, actually. I have a sweet tooth. So, yeah, I like to snack on. I'm a big Oreo fan. I love chocolate.
It's the second time you said Oreo in like the last 2 minutes. I do want to ask before
Obviously
we go to the next
Oreos.
Before we go to the next story, I want to ask all the squaddies, what is a way you kind of decompress or deal with your stress? I already see Anna Nicole. I think it is, Amanda Chung. Something I actually like as well. I find myself in the spa when I'm stressed.
I'm in Jessica Levy's corner. Eat now and worry later. I'm in her corner.
I am too as well.
Joelle knows the vibe.
All right. And finally, this is interesting. The exes of J-Lo and Ben Affleck, they're both wishing, Jennifer Garner and Mark Anthony, both wishing Bennifer that they make it.
Wow.
Well, that's unusual.
That's love.
That's unusual because usually the exes are like, F you.
Well, Mark Anthony, I don't know how far back Jennifer was with Ben, but Mark Anthony, he had the kids with her, right? So he's had his family, and she was with what's his name?
But also it's a very good point. Okay, because Jennifer Garner had children with Ben Affleck as well.
See what I'm saying?
And I feel that way about my ex-wife.
There you go, exactly.
I had children with her. I want her to be happy.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like I want to be back together with her.
Right,
but I wish her happiness, and I wish her that she finds somebody that makes her happy.
Because at this point, this is a bigger bond than just being boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know, Nesquik, if you watch, but I'm sure a lot of you guys watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cynthia Bailey, she's like a model. She was Mimi's best friend. It's actually kind of weird, her relationship with her baby's father, but this was from the 90s. He played in The Temptations, Leon. He's like a legendary actor, but their relationship, Leon is literally always at every single wedding. He becomes best friends with each of her new husbands.
Right.
That's the type of relationship, but you couldn't do that with her ex-boyfriend. He's not going to wish her well. He's going to be like, well, damn, that was my piece of butt.
A source told Entertainment Tonight, and I get a lot of my information from Entertainment Tonight. Source told them, they usually write on Entertainment Tonight, right?
Yeah.
A source said, it's an unnamed source, said Jen Garner and Mark Anthony are continuing to be supportive, and there doesn't seem to be any ill will across the board. They all just want what's best for each other's families.
Good.
Wow.
So I think that's really nice.
We can learn from that.
I think that's really nice.
Really thing. I cannot even, I'm not surprised, but whatever.
I would have thought that people's egos would have got involved, but no.
I don't. Like I said, I think it would if they were ex-boyfriends and girlfriends and recent. But when it comes to marriage, you had kids. The marriage didn't work out, but you're constantly in each other's faces. You're dealing with the kids, so you want love for them. My mom and my dad are divorced, and my mom says that my dad is like her brother. They've known each other for over 30 years.
Very nice. And what's very interesting is to your point, Yo-Yo. I read that J-Lo deleted all of pictures of A-Rod on her Instagram.
Oh, well, as you should.
Right, because I guess they didn't have children and they were just, they were just.
So A-Rod, I don't think is going to be like, I'm down for the Bennifer.
Right.
Right.
I don't think A-Rod's down for Bennifer.
A-Rod is down for Bennifer.
not with the Bennifer.
No, they were actually Bennifer and A-Rod were on competing yachts off of Saint-Tropez.
Really?
2 weeks ago, yes. I was reading in the New York Post.
Spicy.
And the New York Post was saying who had the nicer yacht.
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
A-Rod was on like one like mega yacht, and Bennifer was on another mega yacht, and there was like the competing yachts. And they were like literally parked like they were. I don't know how you park a yacht, but I guess they were near each other enough that they were parked in the bay in the same area in Saint-Tropez, France.
Man.
So petty. That is literally that's number one, super petty, and number two, she turned like 52 or something.
Yeah,
This woman
right.
is Wonder Woman.
Right, and it was both their birthdays, by the way. And I want you to know
look at
something.
her.
And I want you to know something, Vanessa. As super petty as that was, on the New York Post, on at least the internet, they had like 12 pictures of the inside of the boat of both Bennifer's boat and A-Rod's boat. And as petty as it was, I had to look through all 24 pictures and decide who had the nicer boat.
Who had the nicer boat? Yeah, of course.
I saw that post too.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Brad.
I as petty as it was. And I'll tell you who had the nicer vote.
I wanted
Who
to
did?
decide. I
J-Lo.
wanted to decide.
J-Lo?
Bennifer had the nicer vote.
Dang.
Yeah, had the nicer, bigger boat.
I wanted to decide.
Oh, what did you decide?
No, I agree with you.
Oh, you agree with me? Yeah, Bennifer definitely had the nicer boat.
Carol Anderson, the Tiger, said, I like Jennifer and Ben together.
Yes.
I am low-key a Jennifer and Diddy.
Oh, really?
I'm a Jennifer and Diddy fan. That's like the old school. That's like nostalgic
How
to
many
me.
famous people has she been with?
I know y'all know all of Jennifer's dates.
How
Who are y'all
many famous
favorites?
people has she been with? You think about it. Right,
look,
J-Lo. Jilly, I'm calling J-Lo's
back there?
J-Lo's back there. No, Jilly's telling me, well, she's famous too. Of course she's going to be with Ben, but she's been with a lot of famous men.
A lot of famous people. But I'm a J-Lo and Diddy fan. Take it to that old school New York.
When all of this started happening, I had to kind of go back in time because then at the same time, like, not that age is whatever, but she's 50, right? And we've seen her with so many men. So I'm like, where did this all start? And I started reading an article where it was like way from the beginning, from her high school sweetheart, like before she did Selena. And I just maybe got like midway. I think I made it up to around 80. And like whoever, when she was married with Chris, the choreographer. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm overwhelmed. And I couldn't.
Why do you think that she hasn't been able to settle down to be with one person for a long period of time?
It has to be her. Just like I have this talk about this with Halle Berry all the time.
Yeah.
Halle Berry is one of the most gorgeous people on earth.
Right.
And
it's her.
I think so.
You would think it's probably the narcissism. Right?
And I hear that.
Do you think it's the? I mean, I don't know. I've never met her. I don't know anything about her. But
I don't want to start any rumors. But from people that I know that have worked with her, they do not really like her. They say that she's not too nice.
She seems very nice. Just
from people that I know that have worked with her.
I follow her on Instagram. She seems very nice to me.
Don Harriet said I'm not a J-Lo fan.
She seems very nice to me. I follow her on Instagram. I mean, I've never had an interaction with her.
That's a persona, baby.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never met her.
It's the behind the scenes that you gotta really know.
Maybe Julie wants to book her for an interview on Brad Show Live.
Let's do it.
What's your American dream, J-Lo?
Let's do it.
All right, we got to get to our Braducation. In today's Braducation, I discuss stop and frisk, also known as the Terry stop, and why it's so controversial. Let's watch. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your decriminalization Braducation. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. Stop and frisk, known as the Terry stop. When walking down the street, what do you do when a cop stops you? And when can a cop frisk you? Now, the first thing you need to know is that a police officer can stop you on the street and ask you questions in furtherance of their policing duties. Now, when does the pat, which is the frisk, in the stop and frisk, come into play? The police can only pat you down or frisk you when they think you are armed and dangerous, or they believe you are in the middle of an armed and dangerous crime. Now, two things make the stop and frisk controversial, and we got to talk about it. First, police disproportionately conduct Terry stops on people of color. There is no question about it. Second, as I mentioned earlier, police routinely conduct pat-downs and frisks absent any reasonable suspicion that a person is armed and dangerous. Here, where I practice in New York City, there has been a controversial history of the application of stop and frisk. This came to a point in the summer of 2013 when a United States District Court judge ruled that the stop and frisk practice, as applied in New York City, that was put into effect by Mayor Rudolph Giuliani and continued by Mayor Michael Bloomberg, was unconstitutional, and the judge directed the New York Police Department to adopt a written policy to specify when such stops are authorized. This was a bold ruling. It was upheld by the Federal Second Circuit Court of Appeals, and this failed policy eventually derailed Michael Bloomberg's 2020 presidential campaign. Since the New York Police Department overhauled its use of stop and frisk in 2013, crime has actually gone down. I believe that stricter adherence to the constitutional mandate of Terry has led to far fewer stops, meaning a better allocation of police resources, far fewer detainments of innocent people, and increased the ratio of stops that ultimately produced evidence of the crime that the police stopped the suspect for. And by the way, you can check out all our educations on, you guessed it, OnlyFans, where you will see me fully clothed. I have more clothes on OnlyFans than I have on Bradshaw Live, because on OnlyFans I'm wearing a tie. At least on Bradshaw Live, you can see like 3 chest hairs. That's how fully clothed I am on OnlyFans. I wasn't taking any chances, Vanessa.
He wasn't playing.
Jilly said to me, maybe when you do the Braducations, I should do them barefoot. People like, feet on OnlyFans. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it barefoot, Jilly.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to be wearing my shoes.
Fetishes.
There's a lot of fetishes out there.
But I'm fully clothed in the advice section. All right. I don't know why I'm there, but I'm there. All right, you got a question, I got an answer. All right. By the way, Carol Anderson knows that I hate wearing ties. Like, I have to really, she just said Brad hates to wear a tie. It's true. I hate wearing ties. I never wear ties, ever, unless I'm absolutely forced to, like for OnlyFans. All right, let's go to Ola in Chicago, Illinois. Ola.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right, Brad. I have a question, sir. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm in love with a lady. She's, for the last 6 months.
I like this call so far.
Only to find out that she crossed the border into the country.
Ooh.
How do I go about that case?
Okay. So, where's she originally from?
From Africa.
Okay. So, if she entered the country without inspection, you're not in the military or former military, are you?
No,
okay.
no, sir.
All right, so you would file a visa petition for her, and once the visa petition is approved, she's not eligible to adjust her status here. So once the visa petition is approved, you're going to start processing her to go back to her home country. But before you do that, you're going to do something called a provisional waiver. Provisional waiver, the reason why people are terrified to go to their home countries to pick up their green cards is there's a law that says if you resided in the United States out of status for more than 1 year and you leave for any reason, including to go back and get a green card to your home country, you can't come back for a decade. So everybody's terrified to go home because they don't want to get stuck. There's no law that says if you entered the country without inspection, you go home, you can't come back. So it's not the entry without inspection that's the problem. It's the I lived in America undocumented for more than a year is the problem. If you do a provisional waiver and you get that provisional waiver approved while she is physically present in the United States, she goes home with that waiver. Let me tell you what happens at the interview. Okay? She has to go take a medical exam, make sure she doesn't have drugs in her system, make sure she's not COVID positive, make sure that she doesn't have communicable diseases. We just got to assume she has no communicable diseases. She's going to pass that medical test. Number two, she goes in, where's your affidavit of support? You don't let her go without a bad with a bad affidavit of support. She goes with a good affidavit of support. The affidavit of support is a math problem. As long as you pass the math problem, she passes. It's not like Trump where, you had to go through this whole rigmarole. It's a strict math problem. Is she 125% above the poverty level? You make sure those tax returns are 125% above. If not, you get a second affidavit of support. That is. Affidavit of support problem is no longer a problem. Number three, are you in a real marriage with Ola? You just got on the phone and the first words out of your mouth are, I'm in love with this woman. I am sure we'll be able to prove that this is a real marriage. And then lastly, has she ever committed fraud? Has she ever lied? Does she have a criminal record? I'm going to assume she has no fraud, no criminal record, never lied to the government. She has a waiver. Case over. Here's your green card. I just went through the whole interview with you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
I think Ola's working, and he's stealing a call from work right now. All right, he's
All right, thank you so much.
He's manning the register, or he's helping somebody in the aisle somewhere. All right, but Ola, go back and watch because this is you can watch forever. You'll see your answer. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's go to Muhammad in Baltimore. Muhammad. Ooh. Let's go to Sally. Let's go to Sally in Los Angeles. Sally. Sally in Los Angeles. Sally. Let's find out what happened to Sally. All right, we're going to put Sally on hold. Let's go to Jang in Louisville, Kentucky.
Hello.
Hi, Jang.
Brad?
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, I am doing good. I really enjoy your program, and I just have two questions that I wanted to ask you, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My first question is, I am a green card holder right now, but I'm in the process of getting my citizenship. I've already applied for it in the first week of February of this year.
Okay.
And then now my question is, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I invited my mom. So she came here. So now my question is, she's sick and she need medical
care.
Yeah, care. And then now, and the doctor told me that she cannot be by herself, that she always have to at home with me.
Okay, she lives with you in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives with me right now. So my question is, my question is, I wanted to ask, what type of visa if I wanted to, let's say, invite one of my sisters to come be like a caregiver?
Two things. You can't invite your sister to be a caregiver. Even though she's a relative, you're not going to say she's coming here to be a caregiver because, believe it or not, that is a job. And the embassy will say she's taking a job away from an American worker. Your sister's working for free and is an American worker who would get paid to take care of your mother. So that's not a good reason to get your sister here. Because your mother overstayed on her visa, my guess is just your sister coming for a regular visit, my guess is that they would turn her down. I think the best thing you need to do right now is see if you can find help within the United States. Once your mother gets a green card, I think it would be easier for your sister to try to get a visitor's visa.
Visitor visa. Okay. So like, and then, do you know why is it taking so long? Like
Your
for with the
citizenship?
yes.
How long? When did you start?
In February.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's February. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. You're about 7 months. You should be hearing any time now. Actually, citizenships, at least in my office, we've been getting them pretty fast in about 6 months. You're at about the 7-month mark now. You should be hearing very
Right.
soon. I would be very surprised if October rolls around and you don't have an interview yet.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
All right, Brad. Thank you so much,
very
and
welcome.
God bless you.
Thank you, Jen. Good luck. Okay.
Bye.
Let's go to Mohammed in Baltimore. Mohammed. Is it the same Mohammed as yesterday who who falls asleep every time he calls? How many times is Mohammed going to do this? Come on, Mohammed. Put Mohammed on hold again. We're going to give him one more try. After that, we're just going to tell him to have a consultation with me. Yeah. I mean, after you call 5 times and we still can't get you on the line, let's go to Sally in Los Angeles. Sally. Sally.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, fine. I'm just calling about, I guess this is an unusual call because I watch the show all the time, but nobody seemed to call in about the cultural differences.
What
I
culture
can't
differences?
take it no more with him. He got his fingerprints. We're waiting on his SS,
Who are you
Social
talking
Security
about?
card.
Who are you talking about?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. Culture differences, and then you're saying about fingerprints. What?
No, he got his.
Who's
he did
Who's
the fingerprints.
Let's take a step back.
My husband.
Your husband. Okay. Where's your husband from?
A foreign country where, let's say he's Muslim.
Okay. He's a Muslim from
And
a
his
foreign country.
hygiene is totally different. Like, nobody never called in about the hygiene. We're in counseling because I can't take it no more.
You can't take any more his
can't.
hygiene?
I can't take him at all. Like the hygiene, washing your hands for 1 minute. You want to be a doctor. Oh, you open the door for me. It's just too much. He didn't show me that side before marriage. So if I go to the immigration meeting, they see that, hey, I don't care for this. What's going to happen?
Well, if you filed for him and you don't go to the interview or you tell the immigration officer, I don't want to continue this case because of his hygiene, or he's not opening the door for me, or you have these cultural differences you can't handle being with him, they're going to deny him. And then he has to figure out some other way. As far as you actually have a more broader question, which I see a lot, is it's very, very, long distance relationships when you live in America and the love of your life lives in another country. And,
No, we live together.
No. But I'm saying, how did you meet the man originally?
Oh, for a babysitter, his disabled niece.
Oh, okay, fine. So then my answer to you is then you're not compatible. You're not compatible. Then I thought he came from another country and you just started living together. But if you dated, you saw.
Oh no, we've been together for 5 years, but he didn't show me that side.
So
that side of him.
my answer to you is, you found out you peeled the onion and you don't like the onion. So I mean, unfortunately,
that's both
right. So
that's both stinks.
Yeah, okay. So you then move on. I'm not a marriage counselor. All I am is an immigration lawyer.
But we're in counseling. I still can't get this guy to take the garbage out 2 days a week.
He's not right.
Remember Monday and Thursday?
Sally, he's not right for you. Yeah. He ain't right for you. Okay. The man ain't right for you. The man ain't right for you.
I'm done. When he gets that Social Security card, get out of my face.
All right.
Go to work.
All right. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right. What's this, Jerry Springer today?
Yo,
I don't know what she's talking about.
Juicy.
The heck? Edward in Holland, Ohio.
Hey, Brad, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Alrighty, man. I'm going to keep it pretty quick. So, essentially, I moved to the States through the diversity visa.
Right.
Been here 4 years, no problems at all. But I, just learned that I was supposed to essentially be updating my address every single time I move, and I have not been doing that.
So you have your... Okay, it's not the end of the world. You'll still become a citizen. Don't worry.
Oh, copy. So just file now and just keep going, and that's
Yeah,
it.
just do your AR-11s now. You can change the address. You just found out about it. It's not going to prevent you from becoming a citizen and file your citizenship when you want to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
You're
man.
very
I really
welcome.
appreciate
Okay.
it.
All right. Let's go to Zika in Los Angeles. Zika. Zikia.
Oh,
Zakia.
hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Brad. I'm good. Thank you. Actually, I wanted to adopt my nephew. He's 2 years old.
Uh-huh.
So what should I do?
Where's your nephew? I'm sorry I'm laughing. I was thinking of Sally still.
No.
Okay, so where's your nephew?
He's in India.
He's in
He's
India.
2 years old.
Okay,
Yeah.
where are the parents of this child?
My brother, my younger brother, he's taking care of mother, and his wife is not with him. And so my brother doesn't work. He taking care of mom because mom is getting retirement
So
money.
the parents are alive.
Yeah,
Okay,
parents.
where does this child live?
Is in India, northern
No.
India.
Who does he live with? If your brother, who's taking care of this child
He's
right now?
my brother. He live with my brother.
Okay. All right. So the only way you can bring this child to America is one of two ways in terms of an adoption. Okay. Either one, you got to go to India and live with this child for 2 years, adopt the child in India, and then bring the child here, proving you lived with the child for 2 years, you had guardianship of the child 2 years in India, and you lived with him. You're not going to do that, I presume. The other way to bring a child here is as an orphan. There's no mother, no father. We're not going to go to India and kill the parents, but what you can do is you can take the child out of the house. You know, the parents can't care for this child anymore. Bring the child to another home for somebody else to take care of them, and then hire an adoption agency here in the United States, because you have to go through an adoption agency now. It's not through lawyers anymore, it's through adoption agencies. Go through an adoption agency who can assist you in trying to work with somebody in India to strip the parents of their parental rights because they're unable to care for this child. And at the same time, go through a pre-adoption process here in the United States that a judge would sign off on a pre-adoption document saying that they're satisfied that you're a capable person to adopt a child who comes to America. Once you have a pre-adoption and the parents' rights are stripped in India, it's not an easy process to go through, then you can file an orphan petition for this baby who may be now 3 or 4 years old, because it's 2 now, it could take a year and a half or whatever it is, to come to America and for you to live. But other than that, you can't bring a nephew here. And if you were to adopt the child just in India as a non-orphan, and you would have the parents just assign their rights to you, that would not be an orphan petition. And then the government would deny you the child's green card because you never lived with them for 2 years.
If I go every year, live with him like 2 months, 3 months,
you can certainly add up the 2 years. But then what I would do is do the adoption in India, and make sure you adopt this child as quickly as possible. And once you add up the 2 years after the adoption or before the adoption, you don't have to live, as long as you can prove you live with the child for 2 years before or after the adoption, but do the adoption because adoptions take time. Then you can bring the child here. Now, if you're adopting from India, it's 3 rules. Okay, I'll leave you with the 3 rules. 1, adoption before 16. 2, legal custody for 2 years, and that usually starts at the time of adoption. And 3, you lived with the child for 2 years in the same household before the child's 16th birthday.
Okay, so it doesn't mean I need to stay straight 2 years. I can break it down.
You can break
right?
it. You can break it up. Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
just make sure you document it all.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Brad.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Let's go to Melissa in Raleigh, North Carolina. Melissa.
Yes.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I have a situation where I was in I guess deportation status, and then I came out. They gave me prosecutorial discretion. And now I'm trying to go ahead. I got approved for my 501, not the 501. What do you call it?
I don't know what your 501.
I-30.
Okay, you got married?
No, my son. He's U.S. citizen.
Okay, fine. All right. So how did you come to the United States?
Originally, I mean, I was here in and out from when I was young, and then I came back, went home, went back.
I understand back and forth, but what were you using? What were you using to come to America? A visa?
Well, nothing at first, but the last time I came on a student visa, and then the student visa.
Got it. All right. So let me explain to you what to do. Do you understand what prosecutorial discretion is?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who don't, prosecutorial discretion is you went to see a judge and they were ready to deport you, and for humanitarian reasons, the judge says, I'm not going to order you deported, I'm just going to stop your deportation case. You have no relief from deportation, you can't get a green card, you can't get work permit, you can't get anything. We're just going to agree not to continue the deportation case, almost like stop the conveyor belt. Now that you have an approved petition by your son, you have to go back to the judge, make a motion to recalendar, reopen and recalendar that prosecutorial discretion.
It has to be recalendared?
It has to be recalendared. There's no other way around it because you're still in removal. And then show the judge the approved I-130, and then you file your adjustment before the judge.
Okay, can I do that myself?
No, you probably need a lawyer, but you want to try yourself. You're in deportation. I wouldn't take the risk, but you want to do it yourself, do it yourself. I'm never going to tell you no, but if it was me, I would get a lawyer.
Well, I can't work, so I'm just trying to work stuff out myself. I want to do it myself.
All right, so then do it yourself. Do it yourself. All right, but it's a motion to recalendar, reopen and recalendar, the prosecutorial discretion. You get put on the master calendar. You show up with an I-130. You tell the judge you want to file an adjustment application. The judge will say, okay, file it by X amount date. Then you go back, you prove to the judge it's all filed, and then they schedule you for an individual hearing to adjust your status.
Can I just hire a lawyer just to file the motion to reopen it, and that's it?
You can, but the problem is this. Once a lawyer files papers, the lawyer's on the case. The judge is not going to allow the lawyer off because it's easier for a lawyer to show up and represent you than for the judge to have somebody representing themselves in their courtroom. It takes up a lot more time of the judge. So once a lawyer gets involved, the judge never lets him out.
And what is that looking like? Like, what is the cost for that?
Oh, you're talking about my law firm, what the cost is? You would have to have a consultation. We would have to figure it out.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's go to Karam in Cantonsville, Maryland.
Yes, sir. Good. Thank you. I'm here now.
How you doing?
My question is, good, sir. My question, I was married to a U.S. citizen in 2010.
Right.
And my case took a very long time. In 2019, I got my permanent resident card for 10 years.
Great.
Now, after that, pandemic came in, things got changed, and I got the divorce from the lady. And so I have permanent resident for 10 years green card. Now, I have a lady whom I really like a lot. I think I'm in love with her.
Okay, great.
And she actually have a U.S. Visit visa, B1, B2 visit visa. She comes in and she has 2.5 years of visit visa. She comes in and goes. So how can I file her case in the U.S. so that she can actually stays here and then she doesn't have to go back until she gets the green card?
Well, you can't. You can marry her whenever you want, but you can't file for her because you got your green card through marriage until 5 years from the time that you got your lawful resident status. So if you got your resident status when, 2019, or did you have a conditional card first?
Yeah, in 2019.
That was the first time you ever got your green card?
Yes.
And it was through marriage, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can marry her whenever you want, except you can't file for her until 2024. And you can't file for your citizenship till 2024 because you're no longer with your first wife. So you doing anything for her is a no-go until 2024. Can she figure out a different way to stay here? Maybe she wants to get a student visa, maybe some sort of work visa for her. We would have to figure that out. But you doing anything for her is a no-go until 2024.
Okay, but quick question. Since she has a visit visa for 2.5 years, and that's the time that I have to file my citizenship.
But every time she comes, they only give her 6 months. You can't use a visitor's visa to live here. It's a visitor's visa. It's not a live here visa.
Exactly. So, okay, okay.
So we would have to figure out a way. I don't have the answer off the top of my head. We would have to have a consultation.
I got it. Quick. Now, one more thing. Actually, my father, Muhammad Iqbal, I know he called you, but he's having issues with his phone or with the system.
Is this Muhammad? That's your brother?
Yeah, I'm his son.
Oh, you're the son. Both the son and the father.
Hi, Brett. How are you? Good evening.
This is Muhammad now. Finally, I was giving up on you, Muhammad. Boy, this is a crazy show today. All right, Muhammad, what's up?
I asked my son, please you call, and if you have the connection, you give me. Then I will call with you. Thank you.
What's your question, Muhammad?
Thank you very much. So nice of you. I have a question. I am a lawful permanent resident for last almost 6 years. Okay? And I want to file my citizenship now. But the question and the problem is this. Once I was deported in 1998.
Did you get a waiver? You got a waiver to return, I assume, right?
I got the waiver, I-601 as well as 212 waiver is also I got in 2012.
Why were you deported, Muhammad?
Because I helped one alien and he was on the other passports. So he deported me. Expedited removed. I was expedited
I understand.
removed.
Okay. All right. But you got a waiver for both the misrepresentation, which was the 601, and the 212 waiver. I assume since you've had your green card, you've been perfect person, no issues, no skeletons, no nothing, right?
But listen, one thing more. But I was put under a bar of 5 years, and I visited in these periods also. So,
all right, well, Mohammed, everything was perfect until you started admitting that you committed a fraud to get a green card. Okay, so you got a waiver for removal and misrepresentation. You were supposed to be out of the country for 5 years, and now you just screwed it up by telling everybody you were here.
No. Actually, the issue, he didn't understand you. So
good. I hope he didn't understand me. All right, so this is the story. If he has a waiver for deport, maybe I misunderstood him then. I hope I did. If he has a waiver for deportation, a 212 waiver, and he has a waiver for the misrepresentation, the deportation was at the border, the misrepresentation was lying because he came with somebody else's documents, and if he stayed out of the U.S. for 5 years, came back with those waivers, somebody sponsored him, and he ultimately got his green card. And since he's gotten his green card, he's been following the law and paying his taxes and no issues, then yes, he can file for his citizenship without a problem.
Okay, that was the thing, exactly. He did not come anytime until he got the waiver.
Oh, okay, fine. So then he's okay. Then he's okay.
Okay, that was his question.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Thank you.
All right, father, son. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, good luck, guys. All right, let's go to Amanda in Boston. Amanda.
Hello.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
How you doing?
Brad. Good. I'm good. So I have 2 questions.
Yes.
I am an American citizen, and I was married to a guy in my country, which is in the Caribbean. I bring him here in 2013.
Right.
Unfortunately, he was very abusive, and we got divorced in 2015. I'm talking to someone in another country, which I really like, and because of COVID, I didn't get to go see him or anything, and I was advised not to marry him because it takes like 4 years now. That's what they said.
I don't know if it takes 4 years. I don't know who they are, but it's not going to be 4 years. But I think you got to go meet him. I don't want you to be like Sally and find out after the fact that you don't like the guy.
Right. Well, we actually been talking for like almost 6 years.
Okay. But you've never met him personally?
I've never met him personally. I'm
Amanda,
going next month.
Okay, go next month. Okay, please meet
But
him and
I
spend time
cannot
with him.
go to I cannot go to Algeria because they're not giving visitors visa. I went to
Right.
New York, they turned me down.
So you need to meet in a
we're
third
planning
country.
Right, in another country. We'll
Right.
go to Egypt.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
I want you to. I want to ask. Do you think I should file as a fiancé or get married? Because we have a little age difference also. Like I'm a little older.
I think you should do a fiance would be faster. If you want it to be faster. You have an age difference, then so be it. As long as it's a real relationship, it's fine.
It is.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck.
Thank
Just make sure you
God
meet him.
bless you.
Okay. All right.
All right. Stay good.
And by the way, to do a fiance visa, you got to meet the person. It's the law. Marcia in Winter Haven, Florida.
Hey, Brad.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. I had a question here that bothers me real bad. My husband and I, we filed for my two sons. When they got here, I think it was 2016 when they got here. Now, the one was almost 17 when he got here, and one was 21, I think it was, at the time. Now, the small one, he lost the green card that he got when he first got here.
Okay.
I applied for another green card for him. He got it. Somebody stole his wallet now.
Okay.
With his green card and his social.
Okay.
Now, they stop him from work because they need his documents.
Okay.
I tried to get him the social security card. They said they cannot give him the social security card unless he has his green card. Now, I don't know if I should do the third green card or I should just have him do his citizenship.
Do both because he needs something to prove he can work. So, because if you do his citizenship, he's going to wait 7-8 months before he has a document to prove he's legal to work, which would be his naturalization certificate. If you file for his citizenship and do an I-90 to replace his green card, you can do both at the same time. Once you get the receipt for the I-90 for the replacement green card, even if they haven't mailed it to him yet, with that receipt, he can go down to the local office if he has a passport and get a temporary green card stamp in his passport, and then he can use that to get a social security card.
Okay, great. That's what I wanted was to ask you. Great.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
Good luck. My pleasure.
All right, baby.
All right. All right, baby. I like that.
Everybody's saying I heard Jamaican there.
Yeah, Dave in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
Hey, Brad. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
So I have a question. On 2019, I filed for U visa and still pending. But at that time, my attorney didn't file for I-765.
Right.
So with latest development with bona fide thing, so I submitted on my behalf and my wife. So they accepted mine and they waived the fees for I-765. But for my wife, they returned the file and say like she need to pay the fee.
Okay.
So do she need to pay a fee for I-765?
Yes, it's only for the initial, for the applicant. But to get the work permit based on the bona fide application, you got to get that determination first. So if you don't have that determination...
what the reason I did it because my attorney didn't file the I-765 at that time, so I was worried.
Well, okay, so couple things, okay?
Yeah.
There's 3 ways that you're going to get a work permit through your U visa. You can file an I-765, and they're going to hold it in abeyance until the approval of the U visa. So you filed it, but they're going to hold it in abeyance for years until it gets approved. Okay? Once it's approved, they'll give you the work permit on what I believe what you've done. I mean, I'm not a clairvoyant. I would have to see what you did, but based on what you're telling me, that's what it sounds like. The second way you can get a work permit on the U visa is to get this bona fide determination that you filed a bona fide U visa application. You got to wait now that those rules just changed. You got to wait for immigration to send you that notification, and then you can apply for your work permit. Or the third way, which you can do now, is file based on humanitarian reasons. you can file a work permit. You're always able to, based on humanitarian reasons, that there's some sad humanitarian reason why you need a work permit. But you got to be able to document it. Those are
So
three
I'm an
different ways
essential
on
worker. I'm actually a doctor too.
All right, so they're
So-
humanitarian reason.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Maybe you need help. Let's go to Mary in Queens. Mary. Mary in Queens. Going once for Mary. Going twice for Mary. Mary in Queens, we got to say goodbye. Let's go to Errol in New York. Errol. Errol. Errol's on the subway. We got to say goodbye to Errol. Let's say hello to Ace in Baltimore, Maryland. Ace.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Ace. How are you?
I'm good. So I applied while in removal proceedings, I-360.
Okay.
That was about like 2 years ago, and so they recently sent me a work permit under the Class C31.
Great.
But apparently, I mean, when I looked it up, it says fall only through approved applicants.
We've been hearing that lately on this show, that people have been getting the I-765, but not the approval on the I-360. You wouldn't have gotten the work permit on the C-31 unless you got the I-360 approved. Apparently, they're a little lax in mailing out the I-360 approval, but I assume you'll get it soon.
Okay, and then my next question would be, I'm in the removal proceedings, and judge administratively closed the case.
Yeah, as soon as you get the I-360 approval in the mail, which hopefully you'll get in the next week or 2 or 3. Once you get that, then you can make a motion to re-calendar your case and file for an adjustment.
So the adjustment will be in front of the judge, or
before the judge?
Okay, and then so the work permit that I got has been already 3 months, so there's no approval. So how long do you think?
Oh, you should be, I don't know. I would think you would have gotten it by now. I would call the 1-800 number and see what happened. Speak to somebody.
Okay.
And then
Thanks, Brad.
and then call back and let me know what they say.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go try Errol again. Errol.
Errol.
Hey,
Hello?
how are you?
Good. I didn't even hear you call me the first time.
It's okay.
All right. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, I want to know if I have a case for deportation because I applied for my sister from Jamaica. I then added my nephew to it when she had my nephew. And since I had to call the police because she had my paperwork from the
Wait, you filed for your sister and then you called the police on your sister? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, I'm trying to condense everything into.
That's all right. Right. Why did you have to call the police on your sister?
The affidavit of support. I flew down there in 2019 to give her the affidavit of support for her interview. When she got through with the interview, she still had the paperwork, and I told her not to leave it down there. All my financial stuff.
And she left it there.
No, she brought it up.
Okay.
In January 9th of 2020, but she never gave it to me. What I'm trying to say is I asked her not to leave it there. She brought it up, but she hadn't given it to me. I asked for it July.
She has a green card.
Well, she has she has a permanent. She has permanent
so you
residency.
can't get her deported because she's holding on to your financial documentation. If she's arrested for a crime, that's a different story. But you're not getting her deported. She's getting herself deported for being arrested for a crime. But you can't call immigration saying she has my financial record. She's not giving it back to me. I want to get her deported. There's no such thing.
Yeah, I got you on that. But what I was trying to say is that I believe that she's using me or using the system to telling me that I have to take care of her and my nephew for 10 years while she's working full time. I haven't been charging her any rent.
You don't have to take care of her. You signed an affidavit of support that says that if she falls below the poverty level, you're required to take care of her if she applies for government assistance, and the government can turn around and sue you for it. That's what you signed. You signed a contract between yourself and the government.
Correct. But she's fine for SNAP, even though I think that she's allowed to.
Well, okay, so two things. It's not for you to decide what she's doing, right or wrong. That's for the U.S. government. And number two, you can't force her to give her back financial documentation. If you are no longer getting along with your sister, cut ties with her. And move on. It's my best advice. Way too loud. All right. With that being said, if you didn't get your immigration question asked and answered, and you have a non-Jerry Springer question, you can always follow me on @RealBradBernstein. Drop me a DM. I'll try to answer your question as best as I can. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. You follow us at Brad Show Live. You can't handle all these telephone calls, but you can handle 15 seconds of me, Yo-Yo, and Vanessa. Follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And of course, you could always leave your question on our newest social media, TikTok. We're at over 18,300 followers in like 3 months. People love our TikToks.
They do.
All right, leave your question on TikTok at Brad Show Live. And Jonathan.
You guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And later in the show, we will hear the rest of my discussion with Feyisola Akintola, who immigrated with her family to the United States from Nigeria and runs the inclusion programs for immigrants, refugees, and internationals for the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania mayor's office.
And now, essential healthcare worker and recent new U.S. citizen Sam Chin tells us what she would like to see in the U.S. immigration reform. Now, what would you guys like to see? We're going to be checking in the comments.
What is the number one change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
I would say while I was going through the process, it seems like a lot of bureaucracy, which is of course understandable. It's an immigration system. But I would like to see a little more humane touch in that process instead of just like I'm a file.
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in.
All right, our first one comes from Akif Virani, Brad Squad VIP member. This is following up the question from yesterday. My father is on an H-1B visa and wants to file for an I-485 under employment-based category 2. He was born in Mumbai, India in 1959. He doesn't have a birth certificate, but he has a matriculation certificate and school leaving certificate, both issued in 1975. He's also a PAN card, Indian tax ID number, with his birth date. Would that work? And does he still require non-availability of a birth certificate? I'm not filing the green card for him.
He's not filing, or you're now filing?
I'm not. Maybe it says I'm now.
I'm
but
now,
it says,
I'm now
but it says
filing. He has to prove he is who he is. Well, hopefully he has a valid passport saying he is who he is. He's probably going to need affidavits from 2 or 3 people saying he is who he is. It sounds like those other documents are good as well. Hopefully his name was put on your birth certificate at the time of birth. I would start with that and wait for an RFE from immigration.
Crystal Perry, by another Brad Squad VIP member. My mom filed for us, but now she's sick and unable to work. My case is at the NBC. No documents were uploaded yet, but she wants to go on disability. Can she, or will this affect the case even with a joint sponsor?
As long as she's on disability because of an illness or an injury, it's fine. She would just need a joint sponsor. That's not means-tested program disability.
Lawrence Ndibby, Brad Squad VIP member. A couple days after my biometrics, I saw an update that said, you're ready to be scheduled for an interview. How soon will an interview be slated for my AOS marriage application?
Magic 8 Ball. When the Immigration Service says you are ready to be scheduled for an interview, all it means is that they've looked at your documents. You don't need to do anything else. That doesn't mean the interview is coming tomorrow. Will this man's interview be scheduled between now and the end of the year? And the Magic 8 Ball says you may rely on it.
Oh.
Between now and the end of the year, according to the Magic 8 Ball. Vanessa likes that answer. I don't hear you, Vanessa.
I said that's hopeful.
Yes.
That's hopeful.
Yes.
So, Sylvester Garblin on YouTube. I applied for an EAD renewal in May and I haven't gotten it. What can I do?
Request a humanitarian expedite if you could show that your employer is going to fire you.
Pretty Chef Ferreira on Facebook says, I need to start paying my taxes. I already have a social security number. Where do I start?
I don't know. Go to a tax preparer. Talk to them about what you may owe.
Audi TTS on YouTube. What are the best steps for undocumented people that have been here for a long time now?
Find a good lawyer.
Nick Stud G on YouTube. Is it possible for USCIS to give a 10-year green card to someone who's been married for less than 2 years to a U.S. citizen, 1 year and 8 months? Is it a mistake?
It's a mistake. It's a mistake. Vanessa, your turn.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That was the answer. It's a mistake.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, okay.
It's a mistake, Vanessa. Let's go.
I'm sorry. Yvonne Shoshan on YouTube. I just got married in July to a green card holder. How soon should I apply for my spousal papers to get my green card?
The next day after the marriage. There's no reason to wait.
Maureen McFarlane, Facebook. What will happen if I don't remember all the dates and years of the places I've worked and lived on my N400 application? It's a lot to remember, plus I've studied 100 questions. My interview is coming up in September.
Try to be as approximate as you can and be honest.
David Ogbu on YouTube. Can a stepfather file for an adjustment of status for his stepson that turns 18 years old in November of 2021?
Yes.
Okay, Lenz Roosevelt Lambert on YouTube. Are warehouse workers such as for Amazon considered essential workers?
We'll find out when the law is passed. Last one, Vanessa.
Emiliano Rivera on YouTube. If marijuana is decriminalized at the federal level, how helpful would it be for felons for possession over a controlled substance?
Then it would not be a controlled substance anymore, and it would not be a deportable offense, because the way the Immigration Nationality Act is written is you're deportable for being found guilty of possession of a narcotic under section blah, 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 and whatever that sections are. They have cocaine, marijuana, blah, blah, blah. So if it's no longer there, you're not deportable. You understood what blah, 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 blah meant. I don't know the actual sections of the law.
Yes.
I can't, but you
we got you.
Right. But the way it's written is you are deportable because you are found guilty of narcotic possession or marijuana possession under section 203.45678910, and then 0.2345678910 is no longer there. So then you're not deportable, presumably. All right, Feyisola Akintola is the Special Initiatives Manager for Mayor William Peduto of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In her role, Feyisola oversees the city's Welcoming Pittsburgh initiative, which aims to build bridges across cultures. Yesterday, I spoke with Feyisola about her experience immigrating from Nigeria to the United States as a child and her experience integrating into the American culture. Today, we'll hear about the work she does to ensure immigrants, refugees, and internationals in the city have access to local government and feel welcome. Let's watch. Feyisola Akintola is the Special Initiatives Manager for Mayor William Peduto of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She runs the inclusion programs for immigrants, refugees, and internationals, and was the lead in the United States 2020 census effort. Feyisola came to the United States from Nigeria as a child and says as an immigrant and the oldest of 6, she understood the value of community and leadership from a very young age. Here to discuss her immigration story, her work, and what non-citizens arriving and getting settled in the United States should know is Feyisola Akintola. Thank you very much, Feyisola. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
When did you start working for the mayor of Pittsburgh?
My first day was April 3rd, 2017. And I came in as a policy analyst. And after graduating with my MBA and my master's in sustainability, I realized I wanted to learn about policy. I wanted to know how policy helped to shape the environment that we were in. Again, keeping in mind, guys, that the experience that I'm gaining, I'm always thinking about how can I go back and serve Nigeria. Working in the mayor's office, I should say this, was the very first time that I started to understand what local government was, right? Like it wasn't something that, again, that you grew up knowing, because again, coming to a new country, your immediate family, your place of worship becomes the place where you find resources or you get help. Government is the last thing on your mind, right? Until working there, and I started to understand more and more, wait a minute, we're here to serve people. Like, wait, you mean that this role around immigrant affairs, my job is to kind of help liaise between government and people and try to help find resources.
Let's talk about that role. You kind of took it over for a few months, and then obviously the person never came back, and here you are still running it. And it's called the Welcoming Pittsburgh Initiative. It's an inclusion program for immigrants, refugees, and anyone who comes international into Pittsburgh. Yeah. What is it that you do to help immigrants, refugees, internationals?
My team and I work with service providers, work with the folks that directly serve immigrant and refugees. And what we do is, again, we serve as a liaison. We work in partnership with the community to identify barriers, right, that prevent our immigrant communities, refugee communities from thriving. So if that's being able to access resources, if it's workforce, is how do we then say, utilizing the platform of the mayor and say, okay, who are the partners that we need to call in because there's a barrier here that prevents our immigrant community from being able to access resources. Pittsburgh is just really awesome, and it's grown and developed over time. And again, even outside of the city, from workforce development, from workforce training, to opportunities to serve on boards and authorities, to resources for housing, for food services. If you want to start and create your own job and your own businesses, there are folks between partnerships between authorities, government, a higher ed institution. I really feel like Pittsburgh is a place where there are people that are determined to come together to help you solve a problem. It's taking time to craft out, is this problem the actual problem? What is the actual problem? And how do we work in partnership with you to create a solution? And that's what we do for Welcoming Pittsburgh. We have a roadmap that was created in partnership with the community and was launched in 2015. So it has recommendations on what does it look like to actually create a welcoming atmosphere, right? And it was our Mayor Peduto, that came with a different administration and saying, you know what, I want to create a welcoming environment, an environment that everyone feels included, right? And so Welcoming Pittsburgh roadmap was designed. So it has recommendations such as, how do we celebrate people's cultures, right? How do we make sure there's language access? How do we create a bridge between public safety or police officers and immigrant communities? How can we be intentional about naturalization, citizenship, so on and so forth. So it has all those different recommendations. And that's what we do to be able to have the tools to better serve our immigrant community. Created rental assistance program. They were helping folks up to 3 months pay your mortgage, pay for your rent. A small business program, and that's the pilot program we did with Welcoming America. The small business program was able to provide loans with very small interest rates to small businesses, right? So again, we were working with those folks to make sure that our immigrant communities were able to take advantage of those resources.
So you joined this around the time Donald Trump became president. How did that anti-immigrant rhetoric affect your work?
Yeah, that's all I've ever known, right? Being in local government was, I remember my predecessor talking about what she did was firefighting, right? To be honest, I remember being intentional about how do we combat negative rhetoric that we were seeing in our region? Because again, the White House was the loudest voice in the room, right? So it was us trying to say, you know what, despite of what you're hearing in the White House, this city, this administration, we're welcoming. And, we will continue to fight and advocate for that. So when it was issues around DACA, issues around public charge, issues around the Muslim ban. At that time, we had a steering committee made up of immigrant leaders and service providers who would hold press conferences where you would hear directly from people's voices saying, this is why the public charge should not go through, right? Because it hurts us. Or here's what it means when we talk about DACA, right? Hear directly from members of our Latinx community or from our Asian American community. Why, again, actually see the person, right? That help babysit your child at your school, that's your son or your daughter's classmate, or so on and so forth, like, so that you actually realize, oh, wait a minute, this is not some abstract situation. This affects me directly because that's my friend, right? And it's just the leadership, all over from my mayor, but our police chief that said, hey, an unbiased policing policy. That pretty much said we were not interested in knowing what your legal status was. All we wanted to do was serve you.
You were also in your current position when 11 people were killed. Most of them were there on a Sabbath at a Jewish synagogue praying or participating in a service when a mass shooter attacked the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh. It was a hate crime. He went there to kill Jewish people. In This was October of 2018. How did the city of Pittsburgh, your particular board, the community, handle this tragedy?
Yeah, that was such a sad time, right? That really shook the city. It's incredible how you see the support, right? That you just see how people come together. But you really saw again the coming together of our Jewish community and our Islamic community and just the city of Pittsburgh as a whole. We were getting calls from different parts of the country and even from outside of the country, people saying, what could we do to help? You know, where could we donate to? I mean, we were bombarded with calls in the mayor's office because people just wanted to support on so many different fronts. The Islamic Center kind of said, hey, like, what could we do to help? If you want protection when you pray, we're here to do it, and raised significant amount of money to help the Jewish community. But I know that those relationships already existed even before our Welcoming Pittsburgh or STEM committee came about. So it was really authenticity at its heart. And again, it was so beautiful. I know later down the line, the mayor held a rally at the point in the city where it was intentional about making sure everyone was represented, from people in the disability community, African-American population, our immigrant population, everyone coming together to say, you know what, like, hate stops here, right? Like that's not what we are about in our city and in our region. It was a very beautiful sight to see, but it was born of respect and mutual love that already existed prior to that happening.
Now, you also led the 2020 U.S. Census effort in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court has come down and says every person gets counted, not every U.S. citizen. Every
That's right.
human being. How'd you make sure everybody got counted?
So I was the lead for the city of Pittsburgh, but we worked in partnership with Allegheny County, which is the county in which the city of Pittsburgh is within. And I had incredible partners. You know, there was the battle around the citizenship question. We realized that then the administration was really trying to cause trepidation, right? Or bring fear more so into the hearts of the immigrant community. So we were intentional about meeting directly with different immigrant leaders, right? So it was a Latinx population or having a member of our Asian American leader in the complete count committee, so that again, you guys know the populations you serve best. Help us think through what is the messaging, right? What is the barrier? What would prevent them from filling this out? And how can we work with you to create messaging that spoke to the heart of that? So what we did find out was, even though during that time, it was the citizenship question was there, what you really saw was buy-in from the community, because they were tired of people saying like there wasn't necessarily growth, right? We know that unfortunately the population of Pittsburgh, has been going down, but what has been steadily rising was our immigrant community, right? But we just didn't have the numbers to show it, right? The service providers, Pittsburgh public schools that were receiving the students, right? And the families knew it, but the numbers was not necessarily reflected in census, right? In census data. So to them, it was like, well, we want to be able to show that we are growing. So because of that, we understand the importance, right, of the census. We know what this means. And then so that partnership was formed. And then what was just awesome later down the line was the citizenship question was just thrown away. That was something that we had to do was really target messaging that really spoke to folks. If we were saying, oh, you know what, filling the census means an elected official, you get to actually, we have a seat, right, in the House of Representatives for elected official, people would look at you and say, well, what have they ever done for me? Nothing. But if you then spoke to the heart that, you know what, this means access to transportation, right? This means a meal, or some of your children eat for breakfast and for lunch. This means education stipends. This means food bank to get to resources. Once you start to speak to the personal effects of folks, then you saw that it started to resonate a little bit more. So I think that's what we really did, was remove the complexity of it and just have messaging that really spoke directly to folks.
So you lived the immigrant experience. You also work with immigrants now, welcoming them to Pittsburgh. What's your number one advice for immigrants coming to America?
There are people actually there to help you. And local government is not an enemy. It's a friend. It's a resource that could help you get the earlier days of your stay, could help you get planted really well. Because once you have the tools to navigate city government, you will make yourself and your community much better, right? Because then you have the tools to fend for yourself.
How does somebody who is watching this show right now, how do they contact their local government? What do they do?
I would say if you have access to a smartphone or Google, just literally type in your city, welcoming, use the key term immigrant refugee, and come up. Even if you don't, if you guys have a 311, I would say call a 311. Like we have a 311 number that's free to use. You call that number and you could get routed to the appropriate department. And some 311s actually are equipped with language access. Here in the city of Pittsburgh, language access. So if you speak a different language, you're able to still communicate with someone because there's an interpreter on the phone.
311 is your call to your local government for any government services. Most cities do have it. And are there any particular websites you recommend?
If you go to welcomingamerica.org and just search for ways to contact, there when you click on the About button down, it says Contact Us. Reach out to them. And again, really incredible team of folks that they could actually route you to someone in your city that might be already be a member of Welcoming America to get you connected and get you plugged in. But welcomingamerica.org, great resource for you to have.
What is your American dream?
My American dream is that I want to be able to buy my parents their own home for the first time. Seeing that happen.
Home ownership.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. It's going to happen soon. I feel it.
Thank you, Brad. Amen. Yeah.
Feyisola Akintola, thank you very much. It was great talking with you. You're doing such great work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Brad. And squad up, guys. Thanks.
All right, let's keep this streak alive. 9 immigration questions, 50 seconds. Very interesting that we don't blow up as soon as Yo-Yo shows up in the studio. when he was asking me the questions from
apartment A.
Apartment A. Forgot your apartment number.
I know.
From apartment A, thank you. Seems it was much slower, but now that he can have his tuchus blown up too.
I don't want to
Seems to be going a little faster now.
I'm not trying to get, what is it, singed?
Yeah, you don't be singed.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's go.
Does USCIS take credit when applying for naturalization?
No.
If my asylum application was denied 7 years ago, can I reopen my case?
If there's new facts, sure.
How long is the I-130 approval time?
Depends who's sponsoring you.
Can I use my B1, B2 visa to marry my girlfriend?
To marry your girlfriend, you can't come to visit for the intention of getting married.
Is it normal to wait 14 months for a green card approval letter?
Sometimes.
How long does VAWA approval take?
2.5 to 3 years.
Can I travel home on a valid visa, work visa?
Yes.
Does my green card holder father need to attend my citizenship interview with me?
No.
Can I renew my F1 visa from Mexico?
Of course. Come on, don't give me a softball one at the end.
I don't make
Give me a softball.
It's a real question.
Can I renew a visa in Mexico? Of course you can. When would I ever say no? Hand me the softball one right at the end.
It's a problem. If it was too long, it was too
Yeah, I'm always complaining here, right? I'm always complaining, right?
Sheesh.
I'm a big complainer.
Yeah.
Vanessa's like, why don't you just shut the heck up, you
And
did
dance.
it. And dance.
Yeah.
Just shut up and dance.
That's the boss lady right there.
Isn't that a song, Shut Up and Dance, too?
Yes, it is.
All right, comments of the day. You know what it is? I'll be honest with you. I'm very uncomfortable dancing, so I always feel I have to say something.
That's what it is. All right, y'all. Our first comment of the day comes from Gowie Maxine saying, Uncle Brad to the rescue at all times and anywhere you can think of.
All right, yes.
Tamika Jarrett James saying, Uncle Brad just gained a new title, laugh out loud. He is now a marriage counselor. Yes,
exactly.
I think you've had that title,
I've
though.
had that title
You've had
already,
that
but
title.
I'm glad to be anointed again.
Yes. Might be taking Jerry Spinger's place.
Exactly.
All right, our third one comes from Miloslav Minkov saying, best way to deal with stress is with a double 2-topping pizza from Domino's and a puppy. That's my way of dealing with stress. That right there sounds pretty
Puppy
relaxing.
and pizza.
Yeah.
It's a good
Puppy and
combination.
pizza.
Okay, and our last comment is today from Don Harriet saying, my stress reliever is watching Brad Show live every day and getting my dose of laughter.
Oh, great. All right, you want laughter?
Yes.
All right, wait till hump day tomorrow. We'll see you then. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?